Welcome back to the Sports Source. One of these days, I'm going to release a DVD of the things we say off air. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems, East Tennessee's #1 source for security and entertainment needs. These fine folks make your life easy, enjoyable, and secure. Reach out to VFL J.J. Surlis and the team at Safety Systems. Audio, visual, home automation, security, you need it, they do it. Get in touch with them this week, safetysystems.com. All right, let's start with a quote from Mr. Pruitt last night. Asked if Guarantano still gives Tennessee the best chance to win, Pruitt said, absolutely. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't play him. He didn't miss 2 field goals. He didn't blow a coverage. Did throw a pick 6, but he didn't mention that. Look, that's fair. There are other guys on that team who are fouling up all around him. But that is the nature of the position. You're going to get all the heat when things go bad. When you look at that comment that he makes, well, I've shown you that. Now let me ask you this. Is there a difference between 2-8 with a loss to Vanderbilt and 3-7 and a win over Vanderbilt? Is there a difference?
In my opinion, absolutely. You lose to Vanderbilt. I remember back when Derek Dooley lost to Kentucky and he said it wasn't a big deal. That was his death knell. He had no chance after that.
He was dead, yeah.
He almost got fired after that game. So, yes, I think there is a big difference in 2-8 and 3-7.
I would say 2 things real quick. Why was General Neyland hired in the first place? To beat Vanderbilt. For old-time Tennessee fans, it goes back to that. If you lose this game, who are you better than in the SEC? Nobody in the SEC. I don't care if you can say South Carolina. I don't care if you say, we beat Missouri. No, if you lose to Vanderbilt and then have the 2 games you got coming up, you're probably the worst team in the SEC.
Josh, is there a difference between 2-8 losing to Vandy and 3-7 beating Vandy?
I think it says something that you have to ask the question, but yes, there is.
Okay. All right, so we now agree that there is something to play for this week. It's an important game. Pruitt believes the guy that gives him the best chance to win is Guarantano. How then can all of us say he should go to Bailey? Because I think I do. At this point, it's like play for next year, see what you've got with Bailey. If you want to split time with these guys, fine, but Bailey's got to get out there, if nothing else, just to get some of the fans off your back. But if he believes Guarantano is the guy and he thinks this is an important game, I don't see him doing it. I don't see him going to Bailey.
John, I agree with you, and I think it's appropriate that Safety Systems is sponsoring this segment because I think that's the safe call from the eyes of Jeremy Pruitt. I really do. I think he feels like that's the guy, and even though you kind of can bank on Guarantano making a key mistake here or there, I just think he feels like that's the safer play, and that's why he's going to continue to roll with Guarantano.
Well, Jimmy, I never could have said that many S's without messing something up really bad. I think you can make a case Guarantano is better off the bench, especially at this point of his career, John. He had that. You just didn't like that in pregame. You could see on some things that they were showing on another channel. It just didn't seem like you saw that fire. I think he could be just even more effective coming off the bench and providing leadership like that, and he has done that in the past.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty comfortable disagreeing with Jeremy Pruitt on a number of subjects, and that would include the quarterback position. I agree with Chuck, though. Going to Harrison Bailey doesn't mean you have to give up on Jerry Guarantano. We have too many examples to point to, but I wouldn't just look at the Vanderbilt game. I think you can look at this game and say you can win with Jarrett or Harrison Bailey. If you feel like you can't, then you have, again, another problem. But after Vanderbilt, you have to play Florida and you have to play Texas A&M. And if you play Harrison Bailey this week and you can do some things well on offense and you can win the game, maybe that gives you not a chance to beat Florida and Texas A&M, but be more competitive, because I guarantee you're going to have to score a ton of points against those teams. And I would look to see if Harrison Bailey, with his arm, with his passing ability, if he can help you do that as this season goes along. So I would try to beat Vanderbilt with Harrison Bailey and see if you can continue to build the offense around him.
Now, I said it Friday on your radio show, I alluded to it here a minute ago, I've said that I would go to Bailey just to alleviate some of the pressure. But there's a fallacy in that, because regardless of who he plays, if he goes with Bailey and sticks with Bailey and they lose to Vanderbilt, all the people who now say, well, I'll give him a pass, no, you won't. No one will give him a pass. You will have lost to Vanderbilt, and all it will show people is, and he still doesn't have a quarterback because Bailey sucks too. They'd be done with Bailey. So I don't know. Again, I would try and alleviate some of the pressure, but I don't think there's a fix here. I think that the only fix for Jeremy Pruitt at this point is whoever he plays, he better beat Vanderbilt. If he loses to Vanderbilt, how hot does it get? How hot does, I mean, you lose to Vanderbilt, you get 2 blowouts on the horizon. How ugly do things get?
And like I said, John, you've gone from an 8-game winning streak with that scenario to an 8-game losing streak. And that's just, then you're setting these records that are approaching things that have never happened before.
You've lost the fans that are still on the fence. And I think you've lost your fan base if you lose to Vanderbilt. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get fired because other people are making the decision. But I think if you lose that game, you're not going to have many people in your corner in the Ball Nation.
Totally agree. Well, good luck finding somebody that would be supporting Jeremy Pruitt, not associated with Tennessee.
At what point, all right, let's go negative town. All right, let's say they do lose. At what point does Philip Fulmer start to eye a decision? Because that's going to be difficult for him because his goal was to come back, fix things, be the hero. This is his guy. That's going to make it more difficult, I would think, for him to whack him. At the same time, Philip Fulmer is a political animal. He's shown that up through his career. He may be very quick to whack Jeremy Pruitt, for all I know. Your thoughts on if a loss to Vanderbilt is in the cards, where is Philip Fulmer coming out of that game in terms of Jeremy Pruitt's situation?
Probably in hiding.
Well, hopefully, by the way, we wish him well. He's dealing with COVID right now, so
right.
he is in isolation. But I know you weren't being a jerk. You were. Yeah.
No,
No, but he probably would go into hiding. But seriously, where do you think he would stand on the Pruitt situation? I mean, we're guessing, but we're basing that off 30 years of watching the man, or 40 years as an assistant, a head coach, an AD.
My guess is he would stick with Jeremy Pruitt, and I don't know if he'd come out and say he's got 1 more year, but if you do whack Pruitt, as you said, then you're admitting you made a mistake. I think that Fulmer would like to give Pruitt another year to see where he is, so that's where I think Fulmer would be on this issue.
One thing he's done is he has given him free reign to do a lot of stuff. Now, some of that stuff Pruitt did, and Fulmer didn't know about it until afterwards. But
Yes.
for the most part, you want more grad assistants, you want more money, you want to fire your coordinator, bring in another coordinator after your first year, you're getting rid of both your coordinators, bring new guys. Sure, here's cash. There you go. There's even been some rumblings that some of the coaches over there of the other sports aren't necessarily thrilled with how much attention football has gotten over the last couple of years. I just wonder if that starts to change. Because the choice is, if Fulmer looks at this and you lose to Vanderbilt, he can either go all in to save this thing, or he can start saying, you're on your own, Jeremy. I'm going to start looking around.
Or he could just say it was a COVID year, it was one of those crazy years, we're going to work like heck to get things fixed.
All right. Very good. When we come back, Chuck, I hope you have a good line set because you have nailed them 2 of the last 3 weeks. We'll do our picks for Tennessee Vandy next.